Good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. I feel like I've kind of done my time here this morning because it's taken quite a while to set up. So anything extra here now is a bonus. Just trying to manage this bigger painting. And so that I'm not hitting the table that the flowers are on as well. I wanted to set myself up. Away from the table a little bit. And I didn't bring my microphone and I'm doing a bigger painting and I'm making noise, so I don't know what the experience will be like for you guys. But at least I'm glad that I've got the flowers and the painting together in one image for you. It's more brown than I wanted on there. I don't think I really like the brown and orange mixed together, really. It says she does more of it. No, it's okay when it's less brown, I think. It's just the shadow is on the right hand side here. Okay. I must remember to buy myself more of this, more of these brushes. Because I want the middle size one, the 2-inch one is the one I'm most comfortable with, really. And I don't have a 2-inch brush at the moment. So I'm just picking up some of this green acrylic. And I don't know what I need. Maybe I need to mix it with some ultramarine blue to make a kind of eucalyptus leaf colour. You'll see it in a second now. I'm just having to put the paint out on the palette on my knee. And with my eyes half closed, I think I want to put in a darker colour too, so that a bit of that brown, the Atelier burnt umber is what I've got, and it's really good. I like it as a dark colour to mix with the ultramarine blue. Excuse me. Okay, so yeah, it seems to be kind of here-ish, and it's quite dark coming out. I've just got a 1-inch brush now, like, so this is an example of somewhere I'd use the 2-inch brush, I think. But actually the eucalyptus leaves have this kind of character that works for the 1-inch brush too, because they're like little discs tumbling over each other, you know, like that kind of thing. And the note here too. And a little less colour, I think. And then there's a different type of leaf on the other side, so I'm not going to use the same green for that. I think it's more like a hedge, you know, one of these, I don't know what the name of it is now. We had it in our old house, a kind of hedge that you see all over the place, really. That's what's on the other side. I'm just wanting to make a start and not let myself get too involved today. Not let myself get too involved today because it's freezing and I'm kind of tired of myself, actually. I don't know whether it's tiredness or boredom. This doing the same thing every day of the yoga meditation. The yoga and the meditation and the painting works well, but by then I'm not so motivated anymore to go on the runs. I suppose I need to join a running group or something in order that I've got a reason to up my game. Because it is a fantastic way to exercise. Like, it's just 20 minutes out of the house and you've got something significant done aerobically. So as I'm telling you that now, I'm kind of talking myself into it again. And I also need to take Maisie out, and she seems to be fine with me running. I take her into the woods and I let her off the lead and she runs along with me, like. So it's a kind of a good all-round way to accomplish quite a bit before lunchtime. Painting, workout, Maisie's walked. I think sometimes then, another thing that happens to me then is that I don't know what to do then when I get home. I've got my routine all mapped out, and then when I suddenly don't have any routine, in the afternoon, you'd think I'd look forward to that, and I am kind of looking forward to it, and then I don't know what to do. It's like I have to have everything mapped out. If I have a few things mapped out, some sort of weird dynamic like that goes on for me. So maybe I'll just take myself to the cinema or something, see a foreign film, one of these like world cinema movies. I don't know. Or, I have work to do as well, like admin stuff. So yeah, I'll probably end up going to a coffee shop and doing that. But then I have a late coffee, and it might. These are like serious first world problems, aren't they? But if I have a coffee, and I don't like not having a coffee, I don't like having a decaf really. That kind of pushes me back. Then if it's late in the afternoon that I have it, it might mean that I mightn't sleep. But I've decided I'm going to go to my bed before 10 o'clock, and I am pretty exhausted. I think maybe with the running and stuff, I do tend to fall asleep. Like I fell asleep on the couch the other night, trying to stay awake to listen to this podcast thing, this story I've been listening to on the radio, and I couldn't stay awake. No, I think I'm going to, I think what I do is replace, well, I feel like I want to do something for the tabletop before I go, so that it's got some sort of an anchor while I'm away. Otherwise it's a floating pot, isn't it? I'm just putting out a bit more ultramarine blue here. Maisie, where are you going? Why are you able to go in there now? It just has to go into the convoluted spot under the table. She shakes that pot off its stand. Go lay down, Maisie. So I just wanted something to anchor down the shadow side of the pot, especially over here. So this is the blue and brown mixed together. And it's a very small little tabletop. It's just a little bucket turned upside down, so it might look a bit weird. I don't know how I'm going to deal with that. But for now, I'm happy enough to have something put there to say this is the shadow side. Yeah, it's alright. I don't have to make too much of that yet, do I have stencils and things, and this might be a painting that'll quickly be made by using stencils and stuff like that. But what was I thinking of doing? Well, I'll tell you what. I was thinking of lifting. See, I think it's too late to lift the orange now, is it? Oh, no, it's not. Okay, so instead of putting white down first and then painting the yellow over it, I'm just going to go straight in for the yellow. It's actually this bit right here that's really light. That yellow flower is lovely and bright there. And then there's a white one that sits about here. So those two now, I've just retrieve the white paper for, because this is a light yellow, and that's a white flower. But the rest of them I think I'll get away with because they're in shadow anyway, and I kind of want it to be a little bit muted to the yellow here. And this one over here is bright as well, so I just create its shape a bit more clearly as it turns towards the light there. I'm not sure these jarbur will survive much longer. This one and this one, they're just barely hanging in there. So I don't know if I'll even include them just now, just in case they hit the hay overnight. But Maisie, you're being a pain in the arse. So this is cadmium yellow that I'm going to put over the colour that's here, just to, let's see now, is that going to work? Oh, do you hear the birds? They're amazing. It's not too bad, that colour. I mean, I can make it, it's actually more green than, it's cooler than warmer. And I'm picking up the red of the pot, so then I decided to pick up some of the green and just make it a little bit less red. And then there's a couple of shadow bits in the back of that flower too, that'll be that colour. And there's a third yellow one there. And I suppose I could take out the bits that are still bright in that one too. There's lovely bright petals shining towards the light there. So I'll just lift out those two. I know I'm not lifting it out as a precise thing, but I'm just taking away the green from the area where I want it to be yellow. Let's see now, I'm going to clean my 1-inch brush, and I think I'll put on some of that light yellow. What are you smelling, Maisie? On a blanket. I put a blanket on my knee, it's freezing here. It's more too to save Erin's dressing gown, which I'm wearing, because this is a kind of a messy way of painting. Maisie, you're going to need to go away. You're just shaking things. And me shaking things is bad enough, but two of us shaking things. You can't go under the table, no. I can see her eyeing up the tablecloth there. Right. No. No, you can't go there. Right, I'm just going to indicate with a few moves what I think is happening there. That beautiful bright flower. Maisie. Here we go. And that one that's there too. So this is a mix now of cadmium yellow and lemon yellow. And then there's this one that's also lovely and bright. What are you smelling, Maisie? This blanket's been in the shed, so there's probably been all sorts of animals sleeping in it. I don't know. And then there's more up here. I suppose I might as well just plot them. I know they're not all this bright, but I'm just going to give them some area and make them a little bit more muted, I think. Maisie, you're being annoying. Go away. Go on, go away. Go away. Yeah, I wanted to put in some bit of shadow into that one because it's not that bright, and neither is that one there really, although they are very bright in relation to the black jacket that's still hanging up behind them. So it's not like, so I need to make a decision about that, whether I include the black jacket or not. But I think these flowers aren't going to last all that long, so it needs to be a swift painting, this one I reckon. Or else I'll take a photo and do something from the photo. Okay. I mean, you know the middle of the flowers now is going to have that green. Maybe I'll just stick with a few middles in and get a brush that's about the size of the middle. And I'm mixing up a green with some hooker's green and some raw umber. And I don't know what else. Maybe some cadmium yellow. It depends on which centre I'm doing. For these two, they're quite dark, so I put a bit more brown into those ones. Brown and blue. Because I think when you put in something for the centre, you're halfway towards describing the flower, really. Especially if you can find generally the shape that the centre is, and the texture and colour of it. I often find that printing it makes it a bit more the texture that I'm looking for. Like a thumbprint. This one's a little bit lighter and greener. And then there's one here too. I mean, it's up higher actually. It's about there, the middle of that one. Because I must have been putting the dark green on to make shadow, didn't I? And there's actually a couple of these petals are quite light. I don't have an awful lot of yellow left in the palette now, and I'm not so inclined to put more out when I'm going to be finishing soon. am I doing? Yeah, so I'll do the last centre up there, and then I might chisel out a little bit some of the petals, because it's a bit annoying to me that they just look like circles. I want to give them a bit more feel for the chrysanthemum daisy type flower. Yeah, and like in here is all dark, you know, that's the dark jacket behind, so I'm just going to experiment with bringing some of that in and see how it feels, because I could always do just little passages of it, you know, not have tons of dark, but bits and pieces here and there to help chisel the shape of the flowers. So let me see now, I want to make, there's a gap between these two that's really dark, and a V shape going in there, and something going in here. So I'm looking at the shape of the space between the flowers in order to help describe their edges. This brush is a little bit big for the shape I'm trying to make, but I'm just about managing it, I think. And then back here, there are some petals being carved out by the background too, in both flowers, really. And then it comes up here to find the other flower too above it. There's a few stems and things in between, so I don't want to mess around too much there. So I'll just go down here now and find where the pot stops, and the dark of the where the dark of the pot stops and the light of the petal begins. I'll take a photo of the setup as well, because I don't want it to move that much if I'm putting some effort into it now. I want to be able to, in case those flowers all droop overnight, they've lasted ages, like, so it's about time that they began to drop. I think they were originally Mother's Day flowers, some of those, so in a good few weeks, or maybe they were ones that I bought especially for the flower painting workshop, I don't know. So a nice bendy leaf there. And a very dark bit behind the pot there. And really that white flower isn't all that big, so I can paint a little bit of the leaves coming in to meet it. Colour the foliage and give its general shape there. There's a stem. Something like that. It looks a little bit crude. I think it needs a bit of shadow itself now in the back, that flower, to show that not all of it is in the light. So I'll just put a touch of ultramarine blue into this, and making something for the shadow on the white petals. And this then is also the back, which wants to be a bit darker now that the shadow on the petals has been painted. We'll see how much to and fro I'll do with this. It's sometimes nice, isn't it, just to, or it sometimes feels more potent to leave a thing without it being fully articulated, fully carved out, you know. But sometimes there needs to be a bit of cohesion, you know, so if I've done some clarifying in the flowers, I feel like I can't then leave other ones that are, you know, cubist looking. But we'll see how much of the dark is going to happen. I don't know. I'm going to just do a little bit of the background dark coming through various things. It's probably almost dry this, but I wanted to carve out some of these discs of eucalyptus that are in the light. There's something really lovely about the eucalyptus coin kind of look to them, you know. And I don't know if that colour is really working in full, but it's not too bad. You know, I would want those discs to have a little bit more of a cerulean blue feel to them, or you know, really bluish looking, because I feel like that's what I feel in eucalyptus leaves. I feel that they're kind of bluish, slaty coloured, you know. So I might put a hint of that. It could be cobalt or something like that that I'm finding in them. So I could put a hint of it in maybe without having to mix up loads of colour, just, or it might be just ultramarine blue. So it'll, what's that like? Kind of a hint of blue. Maybe even just to remind myself that tomorrow I might give it more blue. Of course, the blues make them dark now, and I want them to read as light. So if I was to really make them, it would need to be either cerulean blue, or I think to mix white with the ultramarine blue. Maybe it's enough to lift off again and let the white paper be the white. So I've got a dry brush coming back in, just for those few that I've excavated out of the green, to give a bit more of a light feel to the eucalyptus flower leaves. Not sure what I'm going to make of the tabletop. I suppose I could just do it as it is, an upturned bucket. Just let it be like that. And it might be one of these paintings that I do very little more to, just let it alone. I saw the yellow here and I thought the lemon yellow might be a nice addition before I head away in a few places, just to kind of bring some bright in. I wanted not to have streaks in it though, I don't want it to be textured. So maybe have lifted up a bit too much of the paint there. Just smoothing it down a bit. So hopefully this mark will be a little bit less textured. A bit. Oh, Maisie's sitting quietly behind me. Good girl. Settle down eventually. dark behind it's very dark, isn't it? Don't know if that was a mistake to put all of that, that very dark colour in there. Maybe something might subdue a little bit tomorrow when I'm putting the stems in and things. The brightness or the sharpness of the dark, you know. And even though a little bit too, it can kind of redress the balance of dark and light a little bit. Thing is, what might happen tomorrow is that I might just use oil paint for the last few touches on it. I might just do a few very small things with oil paint, and that might be it. I don't know. And what I've just put out there now is some white. I need to really clean my brush. And then I'll put on a swipe of white here. It might be too much, but sure. I've done it now. Anyway, I wanted to introduce some white in there, you see, into that little flower. And I thought without putting some in the bottom of it, I'm not going to manage to bring white convincingly in here. Alright, Maisie, what's up with you? Wanna go for a run? I suppose I will. I'm not sure that it was right to put in that slab of white there. Here I am. I think I'll just leave it alone. I was going to try and wash it off, but I think I'll just leave it alone for goodness sake, and come back tomorrow and see what more needs to be done there. It's funny how I just sit here in the morning and do this. Maybe that was one routine I wanted to establish for the afternoon as well, was to do some painting in the afternoon too. But I might do that indoors in the house. Set something up separately, because I don't want to have to dismantle this in order to do another one. And it's a little bit tight to set up something somewhere else in here. So thanks for joining me this morning. I'll go across there and say goodbye to you actually. Maisie still shake everything up. Okay, shakers. See you tomorrow morning. Have a lovely day. Oh, it's looking quite nice, isn't it? I don't know, nice. I don't know if I'll do very much more to it. I kind of like the flurry of it going diagonally from top left to bottom right. Okay, see you tomorrow. Bye. 2 hours later I'll get to turn off the thing now with this obstacle course.